Hey guys, Brian and Aaron here from 5 to Go. Today we are going to be talking about the big, beautiful, great, amazing home of racing.
Is it? Is that what it's called? The home of racing?
It probably is.
We should maybe check that.
Let's check on that.
Talking about Indianapolis today.
Indianapolis, Indiana. Before we talk about Indianapolis, Ben just did his kindergarten assessment.
He did. My
wanna-
little baby.
Do you want to talk about
Sure.
what we're doing for schooling for the kids real quick?
Yeah. So this past year we had them enrolled in school because we knew we were going to kind of stay in Central Florida
For the whole school
for
year.
the whole school year. This year we want to do some more traveling. We want to kind of be a little more flexible with our schedule. So this year we've enrolled the kids into the Florida virtual school. So it's not attached to any specific school district. It's the state's virtual school. Ben had his little meet some of the kindergarten kids. It was just as you would imagine kindergarten on a virtual setting.
Right.
But then they pulled them into separate rooms to kind of do the assessments, and he did wonderfully. I'm so super proud of him, and I'm a little less anxious now about how he's going to do in the fall, kind of seeing how he interacts this way. But we'll
And also,
see.
these teachers, the Florida virtual teachers, they are 100% virtual.
Yes, and they
It's
have
none
been.
It's none of the blended, when COVID hit and schools closed and all of a sudden all the normal teachers had to do virtual. And,
And,
and
yeah.
then there was a lot of the hybrid classrooms this past year and all that. These teachers are 100% virtual. They always have been.
And this program has
They
been
have
in
the
place for
resources for
10
it.
or 12 years. So
Yeah.
they've been testing this out for a while, and
Yeah.
they've kind of dialed it in and have a pretty good product of what they do. And this will allow us to kind of have a little more freedom with our day and
Yeah.
kind of figure out what we're
Yeah.
going to explore in Florida.
Yeah, we're going to stay in Florida for the winter, but we're going to be able to explore Florida more than we did last year.
Right.
But the weather, the reason we go there is for the weather. It's
Beautiful
hard
there.
to beat.
Brooke will do her assessment for the second grade class and kind of placement next week, and so we'll get to see how she interacts in the virtual setting. And Tara, I'm not terribly worried about because it's kind of more independent once they're in middle school. She'll be in 7th grade this coming year. Her learning style is definitely more independent and
Yeah,
less
more
less
individual.
dependent on a team or
Yeah.
other students. So she's looking forward to it as well.
Yeah. So back to the topic at hand, Indianapolis. We were staying at the Indian Lakes Thousand Trails, which is between Indianapolis and Cincinnati. And we were staying there with 3 Roadrunner families, which was awesome. And one of them followed us for the next leg of the trip, which we'll get to in the near future.
Yep.
But we spent a day in Indianapolis, and we did not as much as I was hoping, but that's because the Children's Museum is so flipping large.
It is. It kind of dominated our day while we were there.
Yeah, we were like, we'll go there for, 3 hours and then go to the Speedway, get some lunch, go to a couple other places, check out Canal. The Children's Museum is huge
Dominated our day.
and it's awesome. Ben was super excited the second we walked into the lobby because there was a life-size Bumblebee from the Transformers movies.
Oh yeah, life size.
And it was actually used in the movies. It was, I'm assuming, because those things are obviously 100% CG, but I'm assuming this one was somewhere on set during filming just to represent, how large they are
Massive.
for the actors so their eye lines are correct. But it's right there in the middle of the lobby, and Ben loved it.
Bumblebee's
and
his favorite.
Yeah, and another really, really cool thing in the lobby is they have dinosaurs that are, escaping. Right?
Oh no, they're trying to get in.
Oh, they're trying to get in. Yeah.
Into the Children's Museum.
So there's dinosaurs. I think it's 2 brachiosaurs are outside, and one is lifting up the roof. They actually built the roof with a curve in it for
It's
the
really
head to
cool.
peek in. Really cute, really cool. There were a lot of things about trains, a lot of things about archaeology.
They even had an exhibit kind of showing how the terracotta soldiers, or terracotta warriors and stuff
Yeah.
in Xi'an, China, with the way that they discovered them and how they are preserving them and what they look like when they first found them. Because if you've seen pictures of them now, they're all, just that terracotta color. But when they first started to uncover them, they were painted these beautiful, bright, vibrant colors. And they kind of showed what some of those look like. And then they were also there was a part of it where Ben could pick up the pieces of like a life-size one and kind of rebuild one of the kneeling statues of how the archaeologists and anthropologists and stuff are going in there and kind of figuring out how stuff was.
Yeah, that was fun. I helped him build that. It
Yeah.
was like foam latex rubber, kind of chunky but not heavy. It was fun to build that.
That's neat.
And this one here,
I've actually seen the real
she's
ones.
been there.
And so I was trying to explain to them like what the room looks like, and then I turn around and they have a whole like mural depicting what that room looks like in Xi'an.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is so cool.
There was also Egyptian stuff.
Always, there's
which-
always Egyptian
Which
stuff.
Tara would have liked. They didn't have an actual mummy. I think there was a
And that was
reproduction.
fine.
It was fine because it's a kids museum.
It
yeah.
freaks Ben out a little
Yeah.
bit. This way was nice. They had a reproduced tomb that you could go up and touch and feel and move things.
It had
and
lights on the walls.
Yeah, it was
and-
really a lot more kid friendly than
Yeah,
some of
it was
the,
neat. It was
the
cool.
fine arts museums we go to that have the
Yes.
real things in them.
Like, you want to see a mummy? Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat. That's one nice thing about these kids museums is it's a more accessible way for the kids to learn the things that we're also seeing the real versions of.
Right.
But it's made for kids. It's made more
Yes.
kid friendly.
And there were sections of the children's museum that were definitely for younger kids. Like there
Yes.
was
It was a Dora section,
the
right?
Dora and Diego section where they
mhm.
were able to go in and play
Yeah.
with different science and physics
That
experiments
was-
and stuff.
That was getting into that. This is a playground thing that so we've seen some other children's museums where that's all that they are.
Right.
But this one definitely ran the gamut of ages.
Right. Ben being 5, he is starting to ask more of those higher level questions, and he wants to know the real answers of
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
things. And so I think he really enjoyed the farm area that we went into,
Yes.
where he was able to kind of learn about the crops and what you can do with the crops and why the farmers cut things this way. There was a DC one.
Yeah, there was a DC room that was also a special exhibit, but it was more just a play area, I think. I was hoping for more about the history of the comics, maybe some stuff from movies or whatever, but it wasn't. It was basically educational stuff using the DC heroes and villains for different
Exploration
subject
things,
matters,
yeah.
right? Yeah, it was.
But stay tuned for a museum in the future where we check out the Marvel side of things.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was hoping for.
Stay tuned for that one though.
Yeah, you'll see that in a little while.
There was a whole space section that was really neat.
They had a space station
Like module kind
hallway
of thing, yeah.
in there. They also had some uniforms and some props and stuff from Star Trek and other sci-fi things.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of neat to see. There was like a reproduction of, I think it was the Soyuz capsule with a seat. Ben sat in that. He got a kick out of that.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of interactive stuff. Again, we're going to all these places post-COVID, so a lot of the interactive stuff is still closed. Most of the
Yeah.
hands-on stuff is not hands-on right now, just so
Yeah.
there's fewer touch points.
And there
So
were
in
things that like you could have looked into, but they didn't have like the microscopes.
in that space section, there was a lot of like, manipulate the Canadarm and all that stuff, and that stuff is not available right now, but that's
It's
okay.
okay.
They also have a pretty small dinosaur section, which I thought was weird because the dinosaurs are so prominent on the outside, like with climbing in the building. The dinosaur section on the inside was relatively small. So they had a couple fossils in there. They had some stuff where kids can learn about how fossils are found and curated and preserved and protected and displayed and all that. But they also had Sue. She's actually there right now on loan from the Field Museum in Chicago. So it was neat to be able to see her because that's a really important piece of paleontology. And number one in here, Tara, our oldest, continues to say that she wants to be a paleontologist.
Yes.
We just had a little bit of an incident. Brooke came barreling down this hill next to us.
On
and
her bike.
Totally biffed it.
And screamed, and so I just had to like
Yep.
peace out and run
Yep.
to her.
So Aaron's a little warm at the moment.
It was all uphill.
Yep. But she's fine. Brooke is fine.
Brooke's fine.
She
No broken
landed in the
bones.
grass. It was the gravel that threw her off, but she landed in the grass. And she's tough. So
Yeah.
she's good.
She's got quite a few scrapes, but she's all right. None of them are actively bleeding.
Yep. No, she's good. She'll be fine. Kids heal crazy fast.
Yes.
So after we finished not even all of, but most of the inside stuff, we went out to reaffirm our not sports ball fan status. in the outside area. There's a lot of athletic stuff outside, but there's also a huge treehouse
Yes.
that he loved.
Yeah.
He absolutely loved it.
He
We
saw
s-
that on the way in, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Are we gonna go there? Are we gonna get on that? When are we gonna go there? Are we going to the tree now?"
Yeah, so we sat outside the tree and let him run around through that thing for a while. He kept reappearing in all these little, little nooks and crannies and little viewpoints way up high. It was kind of like a Where's Waldo, but like where's the little redheaded kid gonna appear?
Yes. And all outside, like Brian was saying, is a bunch of like exploring how different sports work and how you interact with the balls and how all of that kind of stuff works. And there were a lot of big kids out there with summer camps kind
Yeah,
of
groups.
exploring all of those different activities. And Ben was marginally interested, but then once he realized he had to do like sports ball stuff, he was kind of like, I'm good. So
Yeah, but there was a drag race thing with the
Yes.
bikes.
Yeah.
They were pedal-powered drag race bikes. And,
I didn't get to go because I didn't have closed-toed shoes on.
right, but Ben and I had closed-toed shoes on, so we raced each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even though they said don't put your feet down to stop,
Oh, right, he
Ben
did.
put his feet down to stop,
Yeah.
and his
That's okay, though.
stopped a little,
But he
little
beat me.
more suddenly.
He beat me.
Yes.
He got a little upset at the very end because he thought that I won, but it's just because he stopped faster. Because I thought that it was going to get to the end and there was some kind of like arresting system, so I didn't hit the brakes. So I was like, oh crap, and then I hit the brakes. So I ended up way farther than he was,
But he crossed
but
the
he
finish
did
line
cross
first.
the line before me, so he
So,
did good.
Yeah.
Yep. So all in all, Children's Museum in Indianapolis.
Go.
5
It's fun.
thumbs up. It's,
5 thumbs up?
I know we don't actually have a rating system. We keep talking about a rating system. This one maxes it out. It was absolutely worth the time there. Even if we had had all of the kids, I think they all would have been interested.
And, yeah, engaged in some way.
Yep.
Yep.
So after that, we were told by some Canadian friends of ours.
Yes. Who are Roadrunners.
Who are Roadrunners, who are very much into racing. So they love Indianapolis because of the Speedway. But we were told that the world famous Long's Bakery was
right
worth a
next
stop.
to the Speedway, too.
Yeah, and it was between the Children's Museum and the Speedway where we were going next.
So, of course, we stopped. You guys know
we
we
did.
love donuts.
Yeah, we
so we did. And we got the lowdown from a couple of the locals who were in
yeah.
line. They had this thing called a Marianne, and it's like chocolate or devil's food cake. And then on top of it is like a marshmallow meringue fluff
Okay.
thing.
Yep.
And then it's all covered in like chocolate shell. Oh my god.
The most amazing thing about it is it's 0 calories.
Oh yeah, zero calories. It's gluten free.
It's actually negative calories.
It's all the things that you need it
Yep,
to be
yep,
to eat it.
yep.
It's not any of those
No,
things. It was so good.
it's really good. It's
And
really good.
we were getting them, and I was like, should I get more than one? And Brian was like, no.
Should've got more than
just,
one.
We should have
Well,
just
we
bought
tried a
dozen
variety.
of them.
We tried a variety. Well, we didn't have enough cash because
No, we didn't
who
have enough
carries
cash.
cash anymore?
After we had the delicious donuts and all the other things that Long's Bakery had to offer to us, we drove the short little distance down to the Indianapolis 500, or no, just the
500
Indianapolis
is just the race.
Motor Speedway.
Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It obviously holds a lot of history for people that are very much into racing.
Yes.
I am a casual racing fan. I could not name 5 racers at any level of racing. But I do enjoy watching it when it's on. I love talking about it. I love going to places like that and seeing that stuff.
Right.
And the really cool thing that that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has is they have a huge collection of winning cars in their museum. We didn't have time to do like the track tour. There's also a basement tour that is extremely expensive, and it's like a private collection. There's no photos, no video, no nothing down there. I feel like it would have been wasted on me, so I was fine with just the normal museum.
I love seeing the people who were a part of it. Like one of the presidents or directors or something really early on was a woman, which I loved seeing that
Yeah.
kind of stuff and kind of seeing those historical photos and stuff.
Yeah, and somewhere like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is such a it's such an iconic historical place.
Yeah. Indianapolis is a cool place. If you have a chance to go through and
It is.
stop and visit the parts of it, we had the opportunity to drive through at night too, and we got to see kind of, I don't know what that's called. It's a big, huge circle that you can drive around, and there's like a big statue there.
Yeah.
A memorial kind of thing.
Yeah, it was
there.
a
That was
memorial
neat
circle, yeah.
to see. The canals we've heard are really cool to visit.
Yeah.
If we go back, that would be on our
Indianapolis was a little bit farther away from the campground
Yeah.
than Cincinnati was. So Cincinnati we went to twice. Indianapolis was a little too far away to go more than once to spend a significant amount of time. Cool city. Definitely need some more time to explore it.
Yes. Coming up in the next few videos, you'll see some more rigs of our Roadrunners.
Yeah.
Some similar to what we used to have, some very different from what we currently have, and get to meet a few of them as well. So we're looking forward to sharing those with you guys. If you have any questions about what we did in Indianapolis or any suggestions of places we should have checked out, we can put on the list for next time. Leave them in the comments down below, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.